Good day, Deep in Word family. Welcome to day 83 of our Bible study review. Today we are going through chapters 7 through 9 of 1 Samuel. So where did we leave off yesterday? Israel got smacked up, all the way smacked up. Why? Because they treated Yahuah Elohim like he's second and third option, right? They hit the panic button and they were like, oh, okay, well, we ran out of options. Now we're going against the Philistines and we need our God to, make sure that we conquer them. And he responded. We saw how he responded. He was like, oh, you're not about to treat me like I'm some part-time lover. Like I didn't save you out of the hand of Pharaoh. Like I didn't bring you into the promise. He's like, oh no, I'm going to let you be defeated by the Philistines. And so we see that the Ark of the Covenant, right, has returned back to them. And because they still did not reverence his presence as holy, many still died when the Ark of the Covenant came back to them. And so now the Ark of the Covenant resides in Kiriath Jearim. There is a man who has been sanctified to watch over the Ark of the Covenant. And most surely he has to be from the Levitical tribe, right? Because that's the only ones who are able to come near. Those are the only ones who are able to touch and come near, all right? And so now we see that the children of Israel are crying out because they know they have sinned against their holy God. And so now we see that the prophet, right, Samuel now comes to the forefront and he has something to say. And so these are the words of the prophet Samuel to the children of Israel in verse 3. If you are returning to Yahuah with all of your heart, then put away the foreign gods from among you, the Ashtoreths in your midst, and make firm in your hearts unto Yahuah and serve him only. Then he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines. So the children of Israel put away the Baals and the Ashtoreths and served Yahuah only. Samuel calls for all of the children of Israel to gather at Mizpah. Do you remember the first story with Jacob and Laban? Mizpah means watchtower. Like Yahuah is a witness against you. He is the one who is watching all things. And so he says here, gather together in this place. He says, I will pray to Yahuah for you. And it says that the children of Israel all came together and they poured out water before Yahuah. Now, water is symbolic of cleansing, right? Coming clean. And so they confessed with their mouths that they had sinned against their God. They fasted on that day. And it says that Samuel judged Israel that day. Right? We're called to make righteous judgments within the brethren. And since he was the only one really righteous after that corrupt priesthood had passed away, and the people knew that Yahuah spoke to him directly, he judged them. And he told them, you better come clean. If you want him to go before you and defeat your enemies, you must come clean and you must serve him only. You must get rid of the enemy's influence within the camp. Remember, anything that is unclean within the camp, it says that his presence will not dwell among you. The Philistines heard that the children of Israel had gathered at Mizpah, so they were on their way to go make war against them again. And the children of Israel were terrified. And so they told Samuel, keep crying out to Yahuah on our behalf. And Samuel, he gathered a suckling lamb and sacrificed before Yahuah that day. And guess what? Yahuah delivered them out of the hand of the Philistines. Right? The Philistines got cocky. They were like, we beat them a first time and a second time. Let's just go back and finish this job. But what they did not know is that the children of Israel truly repented and called out to their God. And so he sent a thunder and confused the Philistines. Let's finish out chapter 7 with the reading of verse 13 through 17. So the Philistines were subdued, and they did not again come into the territory of Israel. And the hand of Yahuah was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. The cities which the Philistines had taken from Israel were restored to Israel, from Ekron to Gath. And Israel rescued their territory out of the hands of the Philistines, and there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. You see, he is in the restoration business. When we cry out to him and we truly repent, he comes and he restores. Verse 15. So Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life. He went annually in a circuit to Bethel, to Gilgal, and to Mizpah. So that's all he did. He circled around those territories and made sure that the children of Israel were in line. He was not playing games. And he judged Israel in all of those places, but his return was to Ramah, for his house was there, and there he judged Israel. And there he built an altar to Yahuah. Since Joshua, right, we see how important it is to have strong leadership. And when Joshua passed away, the generations after that were so lost, right? They mixed everything into their worship. They started worshiping other gods, and they thought it was still cool to try to come in and worship Yahuah in the way of the pagans. And now we see strong leadership rising up, right? And he is calling out to the people to return to their covenant and to not have any perverse mixture. Now we open up chapter 8 and we see that Samuel is getting older. And so he makes his 2 sons judges in Beersheba. But his 2 sons do not follow in his righteous ways. And the people of Israel know it. And they tell him, look, you're getting older and your sons do not follow in the way of your footsteps. They're like, we don't want any corrupt leadership. The children of Israel want an earthly representation just like the rest of the nations. They want to have a king to govern over them. And Samuel sees this as wickedness. And he goes to Yahuah. And Yahuah says, give them what they want. It is not you that they reject. He says they are rejecting me as their king. So Yahuah tells Samuel, he says, give them what they want. He goes, but only proclaim judgment against them of what it is like to have an earthly king ruling over them. So Samuel goes to the people of Israel and he tries to tell them to stop with this request. He says, if you have a king, an earthly king reigning over you, he's going to take your daughters and your sons and make them go to war. He's going to take the best of your crops. You will become like slaves to your king. And the children of Israel are like, yeah. We still want a king to rule over us. We want that representation. None of this is a shock to the Father. This is still a part of his plan. Israel still wanted a king to govern over them and to go before them to fight their battles. These words hurt Samuel's heart because they didn't trust in the God that has already done it thus far. But still, this is a part of the Father's plan because we already know what this is alluding to. Chapter 9 opens up and it tells us that there's a man named Kish from the tribe of Benjamin, and he somehow loses all of his donkeys. So he tells his son, Saul, or Shaul, to take one of his servants and to go seek out these donkeys. They pass through the hill country of Ephraim and they pass through the land of Benjamin. And finally Shaul says to his servant, let us return back to my father, lest he start worrying about our whereabouts. In verse 6, we see the words of the servant to Shaul. He said to him, look, there is the city of the man of God, and he is highly respected. All that he speaks surely comes about. Now let us go there. Perhaps he can show us the way we should go. And Saul was like, we don't have anything to give this man of God. He's like, our provision is running out. Our bread is running out. What shall we give him? And then he realizes that he has a quarter of a shekel. So they continue, and they run into women at a well. And they ask the women, where is the seer? Because back in the day, that's what prophets were called. They were called seers. The women told Saul and his servant to hurry to go into the city because Samuel was about to sacrifice for the people of Israel. The people of Israel will not eat until the sacrifice is made. The children of Israel are fasting during this time. And so as they're on their way to the city, they encounter Samuel. Let's read verses 15 through 16. Now Yahuah had revealed to the ear of Samuel one day before Saul came, saying, tomorrow about this time I will send to you a man out of the land of Benjamin, and you will anoint him to be leader over my people, Israel, that he may save my people out of the hand of the Philistines. For I have looked upon my people because their cry has come unto me. Through these chapters, we should see that nothing is a coincidence. You see the hand of Yahuah Elohim orchestrating the donkeys being lost so that Saul would go and meet Samuel. Again, this is all a part of his plan. And so when Samuel set his eyes on Saul, Yahuah confirmed to him, this is the one that I spoke to you about. He is the one who will be the king over my people Israel. Let's read verses 18 through 21. Then Saul drew near to Samuel in the gate and said, please tell me, where is the seer's house? Samuel answered Saul and said, I am the seer. Go up before me to the high place, for you will eat with me today, and tomorrow I will let you go, and will tell you then all that is in your heart. As for your donkeys that were lost 3 days ago, do not worry about them, for they have been found. And on whom is all of the desire of Israel? Is it not on you and all of your father's house? And Saul answered and said, am I not a Benjamite of the smallest of the tribes of Israel? There is so much to unpack in those verses. Samuel is telling Saul, this man that he's never known before, he's like, you're going to come up and you're going to eat with me today. And then he tells him about the lost donkeys, just to prove that he is a prophet. Saul is probably losing his mind right now. And also remember, in the book of Judges, the tribe of Benjamin was almost exterminated. So Saul is like, what? What are you saying to me? Why are you speaking to me this way? Why are you speaking to me like I am a man of honor? He's like, I am the least of the least. And just to shake up the boots of Saul even more, Samuel invites him in and gives him and his servant the high place, like at the head of the table. And then he tells the cook, bring out the portion that I told you is set aside, the thigh. Something about that thigh, baby. That's the holy portion. If you remember, all the way back with Jacob, anytime that they would make an oath or a vow, they would do it under the thigh. The very next day, it says that Samuel was calling to Saul, and he wanted to give him some more instructions before he departs. And as they walk to the outskirts of the city, Samuel tells Saul, he goes, tell your servant to pass on before us. He goes, I'm going to tell you the word of Elohim. That's how today's reading ends. Hopefully you see that within today's reading that our Heavenly Father, right, our Yahuah Elohim, is pleased when you finally decide to turn back to Him and to forsake everything else to follow the lover of your soul. And even those things that we think are minute, that don't make sense, right? How Israel was asking for a king. All of this was the hand of the Father, because His plan is eventually to set up an eternal kingdom. And we know the millennial reign of Christ. All of this is working through this plan right here. Well, Deep and Word family, that is all that I have for you today. Until tomorrow, Yah bless.